So the Stop Killing Games initiative is something that's been talked about by pretty much everyone on the internet that is somewhat involved in video games one way or another. And I think I've even seen creators, right, who are not even really like that much of gamers who have started to talk about this initiative. That's how big this initiative has become. And if you don't know what it is, before we get to more into the update on this initiative, just to give a little backstory to it, which you probably already do know a decent amount of if you are watching this video, but just to like, you know, summarize your brain, is that the Stop Killing Games initiative is to basically push the EU, because this is only in the EU that you can sign this initiative in, and where they're trying to pass law, is that it's trying to prevent video game companies from completely shutting down games to the point where your purchases of a video game basically become no more existent. Great example with that is The Crew. The Crew was a game that was released a few years ago. Then they had one sequel and then also like a spin-off game. And then it was recently shut down to the point where you can't even play it anymore. So if you bought The Crew, you can no longer play that game because the servers have been shut down completely. And that game was completely reliant on online servers in order for you to play. And what this initiative is trying to do is to stop companies from being able to basically take away your purchases. And this is not saying that it's requiring these companies to completely run the games until the end of time. No, that's not what this initiative is trying to do. It's basically saying that companies have to put basically like a safeguard, I guess you could say, of that if they do decide to shut down the servers for this game, they have to offer an alternative way for you to play the game, whether it's like offline play, or they put the source code out to the community in order for them to be able to run the servers from then on, or private servers, whatever it may be. Is that it's saying that you can no longer shut down people's games and make their purchases no longer existent. But now we have an update for this, is that Video Games Europe has actually come out with a statement on Stop Killing Games. And before we get into the statement, I just want to say this as well, is that I was looking through the Dexerto article about this, and they said this about Video Games Europe, is that they are actually a lobbyist organization representing some of the biggest publishers in the industry like Ubisoft, Warner Brothers Games, Activision, EA, Microsoft, Square Enix, and more. And a lobbyist organization, basically what a lobbyist is that they are an organization that is made to try and influence the government of when it comes to putting in laws. And of course, when it comes to publishers don't like this law. They don't like this initiative going through because it is making them accountable and making them have to be responsible for people's purchases, and it is definitely more of a consumer rights. And when it comes to publishers and when it comes to big corporations, they don't care about consumer rights. They follow consumer rights, but the only reason they follow them is because it is the law for these companies to follow them. So they don't want more laws that they have to follow that's more in favor of the consumers. No, they don't want that. So of course they're going to go against this. But what they have said, what the statement is that we're going to read this out, is that they put this out saying, we appreciate the passion of our community. However, the decision to discontinue online services is multifaceted, never taken lightly, and must be an option for companies when an online experience is no longer commercially viable. We understand that it can be disappointing for players, but when it does happen, the industry ensures that players are given fair notice of the prospective changes in compliance with local consumer protection laws. Private servers are not always a viable alternative option for players, as the protections we put in place to secure players' data, remove illegal content, and combat unsafe community content would not exist and would leave rights holders liable. In addition, many titles are designed from the ground up to be online only. In effect, these proposals would curtail developer choice by making these games prohibitively expensive to create. We welcome the opportunity to discuss our position with policymakers and those who have led Europe the Citizens Initiative in the coming months. This statement is a complete joke. And I'm going to go through of why I think this statement is a complete joke. And a lot of people can see through this statement. I mean, all you have to know is the fact that this statement is put out by a lobbyist organization that is representing massive publishers. And the reason why this is bullshit is that, yes, we do not expect these companies to uphold a live service game until the end of time. That's not what this initiative is. It's like these people who made this statement went and watched Pirate Software's video on this entire situation and just said, this guy knows what he's talking about. Yep, Pirate Software, he is 100% on the nose with what this initiative is about. We're going to go with him, and you know what? Pirate Software is right. This initiative is stupid, and we're going to roll with. Did they even read the Stop Killing Games initiative? We're not requiring. We don't want these companies to put out a game until the end of time. We just want them to put a failsafe when they're making the game as well. Is that this is saying that games are built from the ground up. Okay, what this initiative is doing is that it is trying to put laws in place, is that when you are building a game from the ground up, is that you can do this, is that when you are building a online only game, is that you put some fail-safe things into the game for if the game does get taken off online, is that it then can be given to the community, whether it's offline play or private servers. And I find it really funny is how they're talking about secure players' data, remove illegal content, and combat unsafe community conduct. Is that these companies, it's like they are trying to say that they are responsible for being the internet police, that they are responsible for all the stuff that goes online. And they're also making it out like this shit doesn't happen even when they are in charge. They're making it out that like when they do have servers, that when they are the ones hosting servers, oh, servers never get hacked. Oh, these servers never get DDoS. Things never get put illegally online. That's just a crock of shit. No, servers get hacked all the time. Servers get DDoS all the time. Illegal things happen. Unsafe community content happens all the time. And it's not even your responsibility. Once the game is getting taken off your servers, it's no longer your responsibility from that point on. It's the player's responsibility. And private servers, like stuff like this has happened for a long time. There's been so many games over the years. Like MMOs, this has happened a lot with MMOs that especially started back in the 2000s, right? Is that they have then now become where the companies that made those games, those MMOs back in the 2000s, they had to stop running the servers. They ended up just giving the source code to the players. It's happened a lot of times. It's happened several times. An example of this is an MMO called City of Heroes, where that game had to get shut down by the initial developers, and then the source code was just given to the players. That's it. And there's been no issues with that. Yeah, there might have been small issues here and there, but shit happens all the time on the internet, and you're not the fucking internet police. You're not. Stop making it out like you are. And then the fact that they are saying that these proposals would curtail developer choice by making these games prohibitively expensive to create. Do you know how expensive video games already are? There was an article by Kotaku that was put out. I'm not sure how long ago this was put out because I saw someone just reshare this on top of they retweeted this with this Kotaku head title where it says that Battlefield 6 reportedly has a massive budget of over $400 million. I'm sorry, but developers are already putting a stupid amount of money into these video games, right? I think that putting more than 200, like even 100 million into a game is fucking ridiculous. You can make the game of the year with less than $100 million. You don't need to make a game for 400 million. It's just fucking stupid. But they make it out like them having to do these things for this game. Like, oh, we have to put a failsafe in case we ever take these, games off our servers. It's going to cost us an extra $50 million to do. No, it fucking won't. It's not going to cost you that. It's not going to make the game that much more expensive to put a fucking failsafe in. It's really not. It's so disingenuous. This whole entire statement by this Video Games Europe is the most disingenuous bullshit I have ever seen. Like when I saw that it was a lobbyist organization that represents big publishing companies, I was like, I'm not surprised. Of course they are, because this is the type of statement that they would put out. And this is exactly why, all right? I'm not on this boat, but I've seen a lot of people say that Pirate Software is an industry plan. And I'm not on that side, right? I just think that Pirate didn't see this situation right. And I think that he does have a little bit of an ego, right? And he just doesn't want to admit he's wrong. That's all I see it as. I just see that he was wrong, and then he's like, shit, I don't want to admit that I'm wrong, and then he's just still going with it. When I see this kind of statement from a lobbyist organization that is representing these big companies, then you kind of like make it out as like, now I see why people think that Pirate is an industry plant, is because he has the exact same fucking opinion that these massive companies do, that the publishing companies have. But despite all that, despite this statement, the initiative has almost reached, at least from the moment of me recording this video, it's close to 1.2 million signatures, which is absolutely insane, and people should keep signing it if they are in the EU, because even though it has reached over 1 million, it is always good to have more, especially for the fact that there is a possibility that some of these signatures might not count due to, you know, whenever people putting their information in wrong, or there's a possibility that there have been some people who are actually not in the EU that have gone ahead and signed this initiative, so those signatures won't count. So the more signatures this initiative has, the better it will be, not just for this signature, like for this initiative actually passing, but also because then it shows that a lot of people are behind this, and that like the more you go over it, the more that it's going to put emphasis and the more conversation is going to open up about this, not just in the EU, but also worldwide. So I definitely recommend, if you're in the EU, go and sign this, but I would like to hear what you had to think about this whole entire situation down below. That's going to be it from me. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Peace out.